people were walking around dressed up as Vikings. There were a bunch of Jane Austen characters, well, people who looked like they could be Jane Austen characters walking around. No, it was great. It was a big, big room full of completely historically or almost completely historically accurate things to buy. Oh, it was just it was heaven. It was so cool. And I met up with the Medieval Society people, which I will talk about soon. And walked around with them for a little while and got a whole bunch of stuff, including let me go and get it. Okay, so I got myself this, which is a little statuette. There, yeah, you can see it. It is a little statuette of an early version of Freya, who was the Norse/Germanic goddess of fertility, and love, and crops and stuff like that. And a Facebook quiz once told me that I was the Norse goddess Freya, so I've always had a bit of an affinity for her, and I just thought it was a cute little figurine. She doesn't look especially attractive like a goddess of fertility should. In most modern fantasy paintings, she's usually half naked with big boobs running around. This is not that, but it's cool. I also got a bone needle, which, true story, clothes were sewn with bone needles until about like the 1400s. So yes, so I can do like Viking Age, historically accurate Viking Age embroidery and such, which is completely nerdy, but yeah. I also got myself a comb, very nice comb, and it does indeed comb hair. This is pretty much a comb that would be used pretty much for the entire medieval ancient period or whatever. People used bone combs for a long time. I'm not sure if it's bone or carved out of antler, actually, but either is historically accurate. I think it's cheaper to carve it out of antler, because antlers are, shed, and with bones you actually have to go to the trouble of killing the animal and skinning it, whatever. But the Vikings used bone combs, the Anglo-Saxons used bone combs. True story. They found at the Jorvik Viking Center, the dig in the 70s that provided all of the material that they used in the Jorvik Viking Center. Because the earth was so damp, everything was preserved, which is why the dig was so successful. Things that were usually never preserved, things like leather and bone, and all sorts of stuff that normally would just rot away in the earth, didn't. And the spongy soil that they found all the stuff in preserved the artifacts so well that when they pulled out some of the combs still had nits in them, because people used the combs to comb nits, lice, out of their hair. Just kind of disgusting, but kind of cool. And then I also ordered a kirtle and sideless surcoat outfit. It's gonna look so cool. It's gonna get here by like the end of November, early December, definitely before I leave. And the lady I contracted to make it is totally awesome, does everything historically accurately. And just to make it a little easier on my pocketbook, I decided to not go totally historically accurate. These totally historically accurate materials to make this outfit would have included silk, wool, and linen, like pure linen. All three of which are terribly expensive to buy nowadays, so I just went for a cotton linen mix, which is much cheaper. But it's gonna be awesome. Go Google kirtle sideless surcoat and get what it looks like. But the kirtle is going to be made of a deep wine red color, and then the sideless surcoat is going to be dark blue, trimmed in light yellow. So it's going to be really cool. And then the crowning jewel of what I bought, at least what I brought home, is, let me see if I can set this up. I might just, if this doesn't work, I'll just take a picture, I guess. Okay. Let me see if I can get this. I guess if I turn it, yeah, that'll work. This is, let me get back down on the ground here. This is a handmade early 19th century, aka Jane Austen era, ball gown. Made from 2 different pieces of antique silk, or satin. This is silk, this is satin, I think, something like that. With a hand-embroidered little cornflower on it, with a matching reticule, little purse, which was totally awesome, and I really couldn't pass up because it had an absolutely wonderful price on it, £75, which is actually pretty cheap for something like that because it's hand sewn and everything. And it's something I really, wouldn't find at home. And the lady who let me try it on, she actually picked it out for me because I was just like, I'm here, I'll try stuff on. And the lady who sold it to me was this wonderfully, wonderfully nice old lady. She was just exactly what you would imagine an old, slightly absent-minded British lady to sound like. I mean, this is literally how she talked. "Oh, that looks lovely on you, dear. And we do have various events where you can wear a dress just like that. Have you heard of this something house? It's quite near here, I think." I said, no, I haven't heard of it. She goes, "Well, we have on this date a very, very special Regency tea, and the public is allowed to come, and they absolutely love it. We walk around in our dresses, and we parade the grounds, and you can also play cards and dance. It is absolutely wonderful. If you would like to know more about it, you can go on our website. My son has made a page on there, and you can click on it. It is called Events, and it shows everything we have." I mean, she had this wonderfully relaxing voice, and she was gonna sell a thing to me. She was just so nice. It was a ton of fun. And then I had the fun experience of going back home. Actually, it was really cool being there because the ILHF was basically in the middle of the southern English countryside, which is absolutely gorgeous. Just flat, rolling fields, and lovely, gorgeous blue sky because it cleared up by the time I was down there. It was really windy. Like, I made a joke with a bunch of the medieval society kids. I was like, haha, I feel like I'm in the American Midwest. And they just kind of looked at me blankly, and then I realized that none of them have been to the American Midwest, none of them have been to Chicago, so none of them know that it is ridiculously windy out there. There was also a pen of sheep right next to the exhibition center, and they were laughing at me because I thought the sheep were so cool. I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is a sheep, I want to go pet it, I want to go do stuff," and they're like, "Don't pet the sheep, sheep are evil." And I was like, "Why are sheep evil?" And they're like, "They carry diseases." I'm like, "They don't, they're sheep, Babe herds them, they're sheep." But yeah, they laughed at me because I decided that the sheep were interesting enough to take a picture of. Then I took the train home. I was actually kind of confused because I had my return ticket on the itinerary that was online when I bought my ticket the night before. Said that a train was coming through Leamington Spa at 5:11, and I would get on that train, go to Birmingham, and get on a train, go to York. I got to the train station at 4:43 or something, and there was a train coming in 5 minutes for York. And there was no 5:11 train to Birmingham, and I sat there and thought about it. I was like, why would this have changed since last night? But whatever, it's a train to York, which means I don't have to change trains again. So I just got on the train to York and ended up getting home half an hour earlier than I thought I would, so that was really nice. And then I just said, forget it, and shelled out the £1.90 for the bus ride home, because like heck, I was walking on those feet. Which, literally, by the time I walked into my door, I was literally limping. Like, I was limping. So I took off my wet shoes, stuck them under the radiator, and took a really long, really hot shower. That was really, really, really nice. And then I wandered around in my ball gown, pretending to be Jane Austen. Not really, but I wanted to. So that was the International Living History Fair, which was fun. Also, I will explain about the Medieval Society. I joined the University of York Medieval Society, which is full of really cool people who like hacking at each other with swords.